Joining us now to talk about this more, though, is Ted Dabrowski, president of Wirepoints.org. Ted, thanks for being here this evening. I want to go straight into a chart that we had just up on the screen a moment ago, the biggest population losses 2018 to 2019. You take a look at the first two states there, California, number one, 203,000 in that year time frame. New York, 180,000. We've heard a lot about this. People are getting out of these states, high taxes, crime, a number of issues. Now, if we go over to the biggest population gains from 2018 to 2019, not too surprising here. They're going to red states like Texas. They're going to DeSantis's Florida in droves. Now, my question here, this seems like a big opportunity for the GOP. How do they maximize that going into 2022 and 2024?
Well, you know, what's great for the red states that are gaining population like that, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, the Carolinas, they're getting a big influx of people, which of course gives them more legislators or more power in Congress. And it also grows their tax base. It gives their economies more momentum. So it's a big gain for them. And the counter side, California, Illinois, New York, they're losing a lot of people. They're losing part of their tax base, and they lose that kind of growth momentum. And it's an obvious win for the red states. Now the question is, what do they do with it? How do they make sure that those people who are fleeing those blue states don't bring the blue state policies with them?
That's the big concern.
Right. And Ted, I want to ask you about that specifically, because I think it's great, of course, that people are voting with their feet, that they're going to opportunity and freedom jurisdictions. But I do worry that a lot of them are changing those places. We've certainly seen that, for example, in Arizona, which used to be a solidly red conservative state and is very much a swing state now, largely because of the influx of Californians. There's a sheriff down in Florida who had something interesting to opine on this. Let's have a listen.
But don't register to vote and vote the stupid way you did up north. You'll get what they got. There's a reason that this place is fun. There's a reason why we have a 49-year low crime rate.
So, Ted, your reaction, though, is this sheriff on the mark? But are these Northerners or blue state people, are they going to change these red states?
Well, he's right to be worried about that. If you look at a place like Illinois, where I'm coming from, you've got big crime, you've got, critical race theories accepted, you got sex education, these extreme sex education classes being taught in schools. And, a guy like DeSantis down in Florida, he's rejecting critical race theory. Now, the question is, how do the voters change and can somebody like DeSantis stay strong? But, that's the key for the red states is to, these blue states like Illinois, California, New York, they're avoiding becoming competitive. They're not trying to bring taxes down. They don't control pension debts. They don't do any of the things that make a state competitive. And so, like you said, people are voting with their feet. The question is, who exactly are those people leaving these states? And, what will a guy like DeSantis or others do to make sure that their states stay strong and reform-oriented and don't accept the bad policies? It's not easy.
Ted, when you look at those states, California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Louisiana, they're listed as the primary states that are experiencing those population losses. What are some of the key issues for people there that are saying, I got to get the heck out of this state?
Well, in places like Illinois and New Jersey, you start with corruption, right? It's just so corrupt that people get tired of it. Add on top of that really high taxes. Property taxes are really high in both, really high. Both of them have the highest in the country. Then you start adding non-financial issues, critical race theory, crime in places like Chicago matter a lot. And you start piling all those things. And I think people eventually get tired. And, it's really easy to look over at Tennessee or Florida or Texas to say, I can have a lot more opportunity in those states at a much cheaper cost than a place like New Jersey or California. Frankly,
Right.
Places like Illinois, they're too expensive. There's not enough good paying jobs, and their governments are too corrupt. And that's what people leave. That's why they leave.
Sure. And Ted, regarding Illinois, some of the excellent work you've done at Wirepoints, you point out that over the last decade, 760,000 net people, that's pretty astounding, have left Illinois for other states. If you strip out things like international migration of the state and births and deaths, in terms of an actual apples-to-apples comparisons, they've lost 750,000 people, a bit more, 760.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, too, though, about who these people are, because I know you've written about this as well. The fact that the highest earning people are more likely to leave, that the states are losing their best people who have options.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So we looked at, the IRS provides all this data of who moves from what state to another. And what we found is that the Illinois who went to Florida were averaging about $180,000 a year in salary. The people that Illinois gained from Florida were making about $80,000. So for every person that we switched with Florida, we lost $100,000 in income. And that's part of the tax base. And these are productive people who make a lot of money. So we're losing the wrong people, and Florida is gaining the right people. And that's painful.
Well, wish we could have more red people move into D.C. It'd be nice to turn this place
good luck with that.
Is. Yeah.
Ted, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.